Where do you go to find peace? What do you do when you find it? Hi, I'm Tim Brewster, and this coming Sunday we'll talk more deeply about peace. The peace of Christ that's much more profound than simply the absence of conflict. We find this peace present even in the midst of turmoil. One of my favorite stories about the hymn Silent Night and the notion of peace centers on one of the most remarkable events in the First World War, known by many as the Christmas Truce of 1914. On that Christmas Eve in 1914, many troops began to sing Christmas carols. Their joyous singing rang out, even across enemy lines. The Germans even decorated their trenches with Christmas trees, and as they began singing Stille Nacht, the British troops recognized the hymn and joined in singing the hymn in English from their own trenches. Together, these enemies, right there in the middle of a war zone, sang this beloved Christmas carol that spoke of the peace, hope, love, and joy of the season. Then, at the first light of dawn on Christmas Day, some of the German troops emerged from their trenches and approached the Allied lines across no man's land, calling out, "Merry Christmas!" in their enemies' native tongues. At first, the Allied soldiers feared it was a trick, but then, noticing that the Germans were unarmed, they too climbed out of their trenches and, meeting in the middle, the enemy soldiers shook hands. And as the story goes, the men went on to exchange presents of cigarettes and plum pudding, and they continued to sing Christmas carols and other songs throughout the day. Later in the day, and this is documented by World War I historians, some of the soldiers from opposing sides even played a good-natured game of soccer. Of course, when night fell on that Christmas Day, all the soldiers went back into their respective trenches, and on the next day, by orders from the general command of both sides, the war resumed. Nevertheless, the Christmas truce has continued to capture our imaginations as we've longed for peace. It was a moment of sanity in the insanity of war. It was a moment of clarity as the soldiers on both sides saw the humanity of their enemies. It was a powerful story proclaiming that peace is possible even in turmoil and conflict. We'll look at the different aspects of peace and what it means for each of us this Sunday in our sanctuary services. I hope to see you there.